Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Isidro Flores. I'm the Deputy Sales Director for Jaltest AGV in North America. Today, I'm going to talk about the small tractors that we cover and how important it is a diagnostic tool for this kind of tractors in the present. Not only the big tractors and harvesters come with electronic control units nowadays, but also the small ones. If you have any questions, you can ask them during the webinar and they will be answered in the chat or in the questions window. Now we can see here in the agricultural vehicles, the 9 makes that I have selected. Remember that in the left, you can select always your favorite makes. Today, we are going to talk about Kioti, Mahindra, LS, Branson, Team, New Holland, Case IH, Kubota, and John Deere. As you can see, there are some makes that only have small tractors like LS or Mahindra, and other ones that have every kind of tractor like John Deere, New Holland, Case. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Kioti. And specifically the PX series because it is a small tractor. Here we can see the different systems that we can connect to. It can have a Perkins engine or a Doosan one. If it has a Doosan engine, the exhaust gas treatment system will be located in a different control unit. So now we are going to connect to the engine. Clicking on it, we will check the connector that we need and where it is located as usual. We will click on connect and then we will see all the different actions that we can do. Like everywhere, we will see the read and clear fault codes, system data. We will be able to monitor live data as well. We can actuate components, system checks, of course, the cylinder cut out, that is very important, and we will find it all over the different makes. Parameters, we can do the injector coding. Maintenance, very important. We have here the sulfation recovery process of the exhaust gas after treatment system. It is used to clean the SCR system. The engine will heat up and it is kind of a region and it will clean everything that it is crystallized in the system. So if we click on it, we will need expert mode. And remember that we need to use the expert mode for actions that require to perform or to write something in the electronic control unit. So here we go. We have information about the action as usual, the initial conditions that we need to meet in order to perform the action, and then the action itself. It will be processed. And as you can see, we can even see graphs. Remember that we can see graphs in some actions that have live data. So this is very useful because that graph, as you know, it will be attached in our diagnostic report once when we finish with everything that we need to do in this specific tractor. As you can see, a graph has been created and then we can see it here. So this is very useful for us to see it afterwards if we come back to the same tractor or to the same customer. If we come here to calibration, we have the EGR valve calibration, also the injector reset. It is important to remember that we need to do this reset whenever we do an injector coding. So we will need to perform this action so the electronic control unit knows about the injector coding that we just did. So when we come back, as you can see, we have calibrate different components, but I want to disconnect and to connect to the other system, the DCU, that it is where the exhaust gas treatment system is located. So we click on connect. And then here we will be able to do the same things like as usual, but I want to check a specific one that it's the maintenance of different components. For example, the SCR catalytic converter. We will need to perform this reset whenever the components have been replaced. So we will click on yes, initial conditions as usual that we need to meet in order to perform the action. And then in this case, we need to wait for 10 seconds. We even have the small clock to make it easier for everyone. And then once the 10 seconds have been passed, we will click on it and then we will just perform this reset. Here we go, and it's done. Now, let's go and see the other systems that we can connect. You can see here the Perkins engines, as we are going to connect to Mahindra that also uses a Perkins engine. We will see it there. So let's move to the second make that we are going to see today, that is Mahindra. Mahindra has been very important lately in North America for these small tractors. Many people wanted this make added, so we have been working very hard and we have been added in the latest updates. So we covered, as you can see, the M105 series and the M4 series. That is the one that we are going to see today. We click on it. We see that it has a Doosan engine, but we have already seen it in Kioti. So let's check the Perkins engine. We come here to the connector. We can see that we have the Caterpillar Perkins connector, sorry. So we click on connect, and then we will see everything that we can do in this Perkins. Again, read clear fault codes, system data, monitoring live data, actuate components, system checks like the injector bus test, parameters, very important as you know, the injector coding. As it is a Perkins engine, I will show you how we do it because we need to select the specific injector that we want to code. Imagine that we want to code injector 1. We will click on it, and then we will click on modify, and then we need to select the trim file. Remember that for Caterpillar and Perkins, we need the trim file in order to code the injector. We will click on it, we will find the trim file, we will click on open. It will be added in the system. Of course, if we were connected to a real Perkins, it will show here the right numbers, but we are in demo. That's why we are not seeing the codes, but it will be added automatically. And remember that we need the trim file in order to do it. We click on accept, and then the calibration has done correctly. So you can see how easy it is to perform any kind of action with our diagnostic tool for this Mahindra. Now we can see also the injector exchange. It's important for you to know that imagine that we want to exchange one injector for another. In this case, we will not need the trim files. So we click on disconnect, and then now we will move to the third make, that is LS. So the model that we cover here is the XP series. You can see the two kind of engines that we can connect to. We will check the first one, for example. We will click on the connector as usual. We can use this connector or the other one. We click on connect depending on the connector that we use, and then we need to choose if that tractor has a DPF, an SCR, or both. Let's check both. So here we go, again, the same ones, but we want to see the system checks. Here we go, we have the injector switch off or the cylinder cut out and the system checks for the DEF module. Very important, we have the leak control to check if there is any leak in the system. The metering pump, also to check the pump. We also have the DEF metering valve and the DEF metering system to check the whole system, while the metering valve will be just for the valve. So now we move on to parameters. We have here the injector coding. In this case, as it's not a Perkins or a Caterpillar engine, we will not need the trim files. We will just need to do the injector coding using the program. Will tell us how to do it in the initial conditions. And then we will come here and modify it. The specific injector that we want to modify, of course, to code. We will introduce the new value of that specific injector, and then we will code it. Nice. Once that we finish, let's move on to maintenance. Because of course, now we need a lot of actions in order to have a good maintenance in our tractors, even if they are very small or small ones like in the LS. We have different ones like the pressure relief valve reset, the PRV. We have seen it in different webinars, but basically we will use it after replacing the component, so the counter resets to 0. We have also the startup counter restart. In this case, as in other engines of this manufacturer, we do not need to do the verification of the SCR system. So just with this startups counter restart will be enough. Once we do it, the engine will reach full operating capability for 30 minutes, so we can perform this test up to 3 times. If after 30 minutes no fault code is detected on the SCR system, the engine will work correctly. Then we also have the thermal conditioning desulfurization procedure, right? It is needed when there is a high sulfur content in the SCR system. We also have the particulate filter replacement. It is needed whenever we change it for a new one, while we have the other one, the particulate filter ash content. In this case, we will need it when we clean the filter. And the EGR valve, this action is needed when it is replaced, repaired, or removed the EGR valve. Then we have seen an overview of everything that we can do in LS. So let's move to the next make. This case is Branson. We have seen many Bransons around. Some of them are totally mechanical, but there are also others with electronic control units. We will see today the 6530C model. In this case, we will click on it, and then it has an Cummins engine. So we will click on the kind of connector that we are using. We will click on connect, and then we need to select the specific one that it has. Imagine that it has a QSB 3.3. We will select it, and then we will be able to perform the different actuations and actions. Here we go. Very important in the calibration, we have the injector coding calibration and the whole VGT calibration. And of course, as it is a Cummins, it has a lot of electronics, so we can do the VGT actuator updating, even the multiplex signal modification, system checks, and the other ones as usual. Imagine that we want to monitor like the live data selection or specific system live data. So we check on specific system live data. it will select specific measurements. We can add triggers if we want, like in other ones, and we have here 89 different measurements. Remember that if we check, for example, the pressure, we can graph it. Very nice. We can do it all over the program, not only here, but I just wanted to show you an example. You can make it bigger, smaller, stop it at any time, add triggers, see it in an interactive view. As you can see, the program will tell you where it should not be. For example, in the coolant temperature sensor, we come here and let's get back so we can see the next make. That is Team Tractor. Team Tractor have many different models here. Imagine that we select the T354 model. It has a Janmar engine. If we connect to it, we will need to select which cable it is, and then the specific one. Imagine that it is a Bosch unit. We will click on it. And here we go. We are almost there. We can read clear fault codes, system data, monitor as usual, actuate components. We can do the system checks, the cylinder cut out, very important in the industry, parameters, the injector codings, also the accelerator pedal, maintenance, very important. We have the region also when it is should level in service mode, the passive region, and of course the particulate filter regeneration. And as I explained before, we also have the pressure relief valve reset, like in the other ones. And when we replace the DOC, we will need to perform this reset. Or when we replace the DOC and the DPF filter, we will perform this reset. We get back, we disconnect, and then we can move on to the next make. So now we will move to the main makes in the market that are New Holland, Case, Kubota, and John Deere, as you know. Let's go to New Holland. Here in small tractors, we will find the Boomer series. So if we go to the Boomer D compact, we will see that we can connect to the engine as it is a similar engine than the one of the LS tractor. I will not check it again, but let's check the Boomer 8N compact and specifically the transmission. We will click on connect, and then we will be able to see the specific actions. As you can see before, we were always seeing engines, but of course we are in the main makes that have more electronics, and we can connect to more systems. So here we have the transmission, and if we go to parameters, we will be able to modify the PTO clutch. And in the next update, that is very soon coming to life, we will be able to show you how to calibrate the transmission for this kind of tractors. So now if we go to Case, that also belong to the CNH group, we will see here the Farmal Compact Series. As it is the same model that the Boomer of New Holland, we will not see because it will be the same, but remember that we also cover it, and we are adding new Farmal, like the Farmal A in the next update as well. We come back to agricultural vehicles. We see the Kubota one. Kubota is growing a lot, as you know, all over North America. That's why we have all the different ones. And if we check the L1 and L2 series, because they are the small ones, we will be able to see, like, for example, in the L1 series, that we cover the engine, but also the body computer. Let's check what actions we can do in the engine. Remember that we have here the cable that Kubota uses. We connect to it, and we need to say if it has a particulate filter or not. Let's check it with a particulate filter. Oh, sorry, here, click on connect. Particulate filter, yes. And here we see all the different actuations, monitoring. We can display the system, fuel system, here you go, but also the after treatment system. This is very nice. We come back, we can actuate components like the relay or the AGR valve, system checks, the cylinder cut out, as in the other ones, the injector coding. But let's go to the last one, that it is the maintenance. We have seen here different actions, the DPF region. We also have here another one that is found in Kubota engines, that it is the regeneration counter restart. It is needed when we replace the particulate filter, so we reset the counters of the particulate filter regeneration number, and in this way, a new working cycle of the filter starts. We also have the differential pressure reset to reset that specific one. And if we click on disconnect, we'll be able to check also the body computer. We connect to it. In this case, we need to connect through using this cable. And then, as you can see, the same ones as usual. Even if we are in the body computer, we are not in an engine or in a transmission, we are in a different system. And that also has electronics. So we can display the different parameters related to the body computer. Here you go. So we disconnect, and then we will go to the last make that I'm going to show you today. And of course, it is John Deere, the main make in the market for AGV in North America. We click on it. As you can see, we can cover different models in the small tractors. The small tractors of John Deere will be these four ones, as you can see, the 3E series, the 3R series, the 4M series, and the 4R series. The 3E series are designed for South America market and Asian market, but they have been also being sold in North America, so we will find them here. We also see here the 4M series. Remember that the M series are the economic series that John Deere sells in the main markets of Europe and the US and Canada. So today, I'm going to focus on the 4R series model. So here we go. We have the different, electronic control units of different systems. As you can see, it's not just the engine in John Deere, but also the after treatment, the instrument cluster, and the transmission. So if it is a Bosch jammer that we saw it before, it will not have a different or a separate system for the exhaust gas treatment system. But something interesting here is that John Deere usually has the same electronic control unit for the engine and the exhaust gas treatment system, but for this specific model or the small models that it has, as it does not use a John Deere engine, it uses a Janmar engine, in this case the Denso. The Denso will have sometimes another electronic control unit for the exhaust gas treatment system. So let's connect to the Janmar Denso. We click on connect. And of course, we are in this one, we are able to monitor live data, read clear fault codes, and we can actuate components like the ER valve, system checks, cylinder cut out, like we saw before in other models, injector codings. But let's go to maintenance. That we have the diesel particulate filter. And if we go to calibration, we can see the supply pump calibration. We need the expert mode. This is needed when the pump is replaced or when the electronic control unit is replaced. Okay, so we will need to meet the initial conditions, and then we will be able to perform the action. All right, so if we go back, we can also check here the diagrams. So remember that we are not just a code reader. We can do much more. As you can see, all the different actions needed in the tractor, but also you will have access to all the technical information. And in the GRP, you will have access to all your diagnostic reports and maintenance reports. So if we want to look for a specific component, like the oil pressure switch, find it here, and then double click. It is in the 29, and we will see in the electronic control unit that it is in the 29 pin. So very easily we found it. We can also check the maintenance of this specific model. So for a long interval, imagine every year in the engine what we need to do. So here you have the different actions, and then you will be able to check your maintenance report, as you know. So here you go. You can check your maintenance report with everything that you have been doing. We have also the technical data related to that model. As has the globe, it means that it needs internet connection, but just with a hot spot, it will work. We have here the accessories belts, the tightening torques, for example, for the cylinder head. Here you go. The order and the different stages. We also have the troubleshooting by symptoms. So it will be a step-by-step guide on how to solve a symptom. Remember that we have the troubleshooting by fault code for John Deere engines and also for some Kubota engines already. We are adding in every update. So in the next update, more makes or models will be added for the troubleshooting by fault code. Now let's move to the exhaust gas treatment system. As I said, in this case, is separated as it is a Yarmar engine. We can see the system checks for the depth metering system, but the maintenance of this is an action that we will not find anywhere else in a John Deere engine, right? This is a Yarmar engine, even if it's a John Deere model, as I said. And here we have the temporary cancellation of the engine power reduction. This action will give us 10 minutes of a normal function of the engine. So we have some time to move the tractor to solve the power reduction it has. We have here the initial conditions as usual. Once when we meet them, then we will have to follow the steps. Here we have the clock, so we click on it, 10 seconds. Once the 10 seconds passed by, we will have finished the temporary cancellation of the engine power reduction, and then we will have 10 minutes to move the tractor and to use it. Now we can disconnect. And as I said here, we have already seen these three systems. We can move on to the instrument cluster, because in this case, it has also electronics. So we connect to it. And of course, we can come here to parameters, and we can modify all these parameters in this John Deere. All right, like the front PTO. So we go back, disconnect, and we can see here the transmission. Let's connect, for example, to the PTH transmission. We click on connect. And now we can see that we can modify parameters like the rolling circumference of the tire. But more important, the calibration, the transmission calibration. In this case, it is done in an electronic way. So we need a diagnostic tool in order to calibrate our transmission. But no worries, Jaltest will give you that possibility as usual. So we will follow the steps, the initial conditions, and then the calibration will start. We just need to follow the steps, pressing the accelerator pedal, forward pedal, release the pedal, and then following the other conditions that we need to meet. As you can see, the program is always telling you what you need to do next. So it makes it easy for everyone to perform even something very difficult as a transmission calibration. It has been completed. Here we go. We have done everything, and we have shown you everything and all the systems of John Deere. So if we go back, we can save the report, as I said, and then we will be able to see in the GRP. But basically, that's everything that I wanted to show you today. The 9 makes that are important for small tractors in the North American market and everything that we have to offer. Thank you very much. That's everything I wanted to show you today. I hope that you have enjoyed and have a very nice day. If you have any questions, you can write them on the chat or on the questions, and then my colleague will be answering them. Thank you very much.